And welcome to the 5th FC season opener and the inaugural points-paying race for the Dallara RI18 IndyCar CIL FC Series. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for tonight's season opener. Once again, I am your host of tonight, Edward Sanchez, and I'm here with my co-host,
Sky Shrek from the University of Oklahoma.
And tonight we are going to have an amazing race. Once again, if you were here from last week, we are, of course, introducing the IndyCar once again in this semester's CIL FC. And tonight, it is going to be once again a jam-packed race. As remember, folks, this is no longer a two-sprint race. We are doing one long race, and with tires, different tire strategies, and fuel even a concern, it is going to be interesting. And before we get into it, Sky, what do we want to talk about tonight? Like, what is it, something that we want to really focus on from last week's race? Because a lot happened last week.
There was a lot happening. I think one thing we're going to look at is that we've got a much bigger grid for tonight. I mean, we only had about 20 cars last week. We're pushing the field cap. I think I saw at least like 35 cars in the lobby for this one. We had a lot of people out for this race, and the chaos that unfolded last week probably only going to be twofold here. Another thing we want to keep an eye on, the alternate tires when comboed with the push-to-pass system in these cars was really quick last week. However, iRacing pushed out an update earlier today that broke the push-to-pass at Laguna Seca, so these drivers do not have push-to-pass, which might make it very hard to overtake on those alternate tires in today's race. But we'll see how it shakes out once the green flag drops.
Yeah, and I wanted to actually get onto that part, so thank you so much for letting us know. Yeah, with week 13 kind of wrapping up with iRacing, unfortunately the update kind of broke IndyCar, so they're going to be running with no extra horsepower tonight. So it's just all going to be, when you think about it, pure pace. So I think it's going to be a lot of talent to kind of go around this circuit. Laguna Seca, the Monterey Grand Prix is really one of the staple races, and I guess for all open wheel racing. Oh
yeah,
right,
we're gonna get a look at our track map here as we finish up practice. Laguna Seca, track length of about 2.2 miles or 3.6 kilometers, 11 turns, but the big one that everybody knows is that turn 8, the corkscrew. It's a big, slow, downhill corner that's going to trip a lot of these drivers out in these very fast cars, and I would not be surprised if we see at least one car get launched into the fence going down there tonight. Pit road speed limit tonight is 35 miles an hour or 56 kilometers an hour for our friends in Europe, and the first time we ran this track in Formula College was 2022, Season 6.
Yeah, and I'm watching right now the drivers right now because the practice just ended and we're about to head into qualifying, and some of these folks were they were literally spaceships. Some of them flew over the guardrails at turn 8, I believe, and literally went space mode. So it is gonna be exciting tonight, and especially with, like you said, right, we have the option, well, we have the primaries and the options. So the black and red tires are going to make it for an interesting race start. I mean, we saw last week where we had some folks start on the reds, a lot of people up front with the hards. It's one that kind of comes out to mind was Jay Cummings, who with those reds was able to hold off our Muhammad Ali and be in front. But of course, you know, it's all about really maintaining pace with these tires. How long can you, the longevity of these tires, how long can they make it last before it's, done and dusted and, you chewed it all up. And right now we are on board here checking out on John LaFon of the 16 car for Penn College, and we're gonna see how well he's gonna go through the corners here. But Sky, talk to us through about this historic track.
Yeah, I mean, Laguna Seca is a really famous track, not just in CIL, where we run it fairly often, but it's one of the most famous tracks in road racing. It's pretty narrow, but it's very fast. It's very flowy. And in these Indy cars, it's a track that IndyCar runs a lot in real life. In these Indy cars, it's a very fast track because you're able to get the speed up through all these like high and medium speed corners. But you've still got technical challenges. I mean, the corkscrew is one of the hardest turns, I would argue, in all of racing to get right. And there's several low-speed corners like this one that John LaFon's going through right now. And as he shoots down the straightaway, you'll see it as he comes down into turn one. These are some really hard, really technical corners to get right. And with the high speed and high power of these Indy cars, it's going to be really interesting to see which drivers are able to use that technical advantage, or are able to use kind of the technical nature of those corners to their advantage, and which drivers maybe fall back a bit through that section of the racetrack. LaFon coming around here. He's going to head onto the brakes up into this corner. It's a left-hander, and then right after this, he's going to head up the straight. You've got another pretty interesting left-hander. It varies very wildly depending on what car it's in. You see in the Indy car there, it's just a quick little swoop, but you get in a slower car, and that corner is a Herculean effort to get through. He'll come down into the corkscrew. Quick switch back over the hill there before he blasts down into turn 9. Gets through there. 9 and 10 are pretty fast. They flow together really well, and you'll see him get through there really cleanly. But you got to get on the brakes a lot for turn 11. Slow it down all the way so you can make that corner stick and get good traction on exit to take you back to the start-finish line to complete your lap and hopefully get a good lap time here in qualifying.
Thank you, Sky. And I mean, I wouldn't be lying if I said that that was a really okay lap by him. I mean, kept it there on the track most of the time. And of course, our Muhammad Ali right now with a pole of 108. I mean, maybe it's too presumptuous to say the pole, but for now, he is in the provisional pole. And I want to say quickly, I mean, looking at the lap with John on board with him, it looked like, it didn't look too terrible. Of course, they're running on softs. They have the grip. But imagine with the hards and, of course, running long distance. I mean, this car gets oversteering. It could be understeering. But, yeah, right now, let's focus on Zach Lindler, who is currently... He was a FC admin. And so right now, he decided he's going to do some racing. And especially also, shout out to him in the Cup Series. He's also running in the Cup Series. So he is this semester... He wants to be back in the wheel.
I believe Ricky Paz is also in the field tonight. Don't quote me on that, but he is the current FC director, taking over where Lindler left off to start this season. I believe he is in the race, but again, do not quote me on that until he shows up on the timing board over there. Zach Lindler is making it around here. He's a driver that I think might benefit from this shift to IndyCar. I think he said he's liked the car. It's one of his favorites. But I think he also thinks that he'll probably do a little better on the oval side with his recent runs in the College Cup Series. He'll head down towards the corkscrew here, heading into this corner. It's going to be really interesting to see this season. Oh, he's going to bomb it into the corkscrew. And that is why that corner is so treacherous.
But you got to realize this, he hasn't set a lap yet. So right now with 4 minutes and 30... Well, I should say, yeah, 5 minutes nearly left in the qualifying session. He has to complete this next lap cleanly, or he's once again going through, I wouldn't say the grass. Should I say the desert, really? But
maybe.
Yeah, so he's right now trying. So now he's gonna start his lap, or I should say his flying lap, and he has to make sure that this one gets in clean. And of course, another shout out for tonight, and maybe a little controversial from last race, if you remember. Jake Cummings, the number 95 for Converse University, racing again as a student driver. He has stripped his alumni and has gone back to his roots as a student driver. And I spoke to him before the race, and he said how tough Laguna Seca is going to be tonight. But of course, his plan is to just qualify good, get the reds, pass the leave, and just fly in the distance. So very confident tonight for Jake Cummings.
He was the winner of our Clash race last week, so he's going to be looking to build on that momentum here in the first actual points-paying race of the season. He is on the board in qualifying right now, or he is trying to get on the board in qualifying here. 4 minutes left in the qualifying session. We're actually getting pretty close to the max field cap. I believe the max is 40 drivers for this series, and we've got 37 drivers, I believe, who are currently attempting qualifying laps. So we're going to have a pretty full field tonight. Currently, first place, as you know, maybe some people would expect, is our Muhammad Alif, who kind of dominated this series last year. He is on pole, even with the new Indy cars, something he admitted that he wasn't used to compared to the super formulas we ran last year. But his teammate, Cale Davidson's gotten a good run. He's in second. And Jordan Johnson, who we all think is going to be our Muhammad Alif's main rival, he dominated the College Prototype Challenge last year. He's starting third. Clint Halterman will be rolling off in fourth at the moment. And David Da Silva, the rookie driver in the CIL, is currently positioned fifth in qualifying.
And of course, I wanted to say Zach Lindler he just did a 109, I believe. So P20 for him for right now. So he looks like he's going to get in the show tonight, but obviously he wants to improve those lap times. So I've been watching him. This is his second lap. But I want to say Jordan Johnson, he's also another flying lap. He's currently on pace. Oh, and just when I said it, ate a little bit I wanted to say grass, but on the sand. I'll call it sand for tonight. So he got on the sand there a little bit, but of course he is gunning it because knowing that he's in P3, he went really wide there. And with that is a 108.228. And of course, he's just trying to practice now. I believe he ran out of laps to go around, but it's like you said, Jordan Johnson, he dominated in the CPC.
Oh.
And unfortunately, Zach Leonard is gonna be that's a one-way stop to the and right now Mario Miranda in the 98 car, he's currently going I was gonna
That's
say
my boy.
that's your boy, Sky. As Mario Miranda, for folks who don't know, he was our Cup Series winner this past Monday for our season opener at Daytona, at Talladega, and under a lot of commotion that his win had to go through, but he deserved it in the end. Sky, what do you think of that?
My teammate right there, Mario Miranda, in that 98 machine, is blasted it down the hill right now for his qualifying lap. And I tell you what, I think he's got a great chance in this race. Well, I say that. He has gone off the track as I say that. Ignore what I just said. But he is gonna, I think even if he starts 21st, he's told me he's really confident in these Indy cars. He chose to run this series because of the switch to IndyCar. It's one of his favorite cars in iRacing. So he's definitely looking to have a good season. 21st maybe isn't the result he's looking for here in our first qualifying of the season, but he's probably hoping he's going to be able to improve on that in the race and move up through the field as he goes along.
Yeah, and as right now we see Matthew Nordberg, the 076, out of the pits, I believe. We're going in, it looks like. No, he's going out, but he's going to take an unconventional way to get out because right now they have a minute left in qualifying session. I was going to say there's not enough time for him. As Thornton Thomas in the 46 car right now going around and trying to probably set another lap. I'm trying to look here. He is currently P27. And he is currently on his fourth lap, so no, he is done for now. He has done his attempts. But I did want to say, Jordan Johnson, P3. I mean, this is an improvement from last week for the season opener, which, of course, was it was a non-points paying position. But I believe he started in the upper top 10. So it is to say that Jordan Johnson, he is putting now the pressure on Alif. And right now we see Jake Cummings. I mean, I don't think he's anywhere in the top 10 right now. I mean, what happened to him? He has not set a lap. He is currently P35. So from last week's winner to this week's backfielder, I mean, unfortunately, it looked like he was not able to set a lap or something. But right now, Ethan Decatur, he's gonna try and set. No, he looks like he's on his third lap, but also ran out of time. So so right now qualifying is done. So now we can go and head on to the grid right now with 5 minutes of warm up. But it looks like I'm looking at the top 10 right now. It is going to be interesting. I mean, Sky, what are your thoughts on Jake Cummings winning last week and just now starting in P35?
Yeah, I mean, at least we know from practice he's made the 107% rule, so Cummings is going to be in the field tonight. there are a couple cars that I believe are at risk of not making the 107% rule unless they run a sufficient lap in the warm up here. Those two drivers would be Adrian Tubakovic, Ethan Decatur, neither of whom have run a lap in practice or qualifying, and I believe Alex Hallinar as well. Neither of these three drivers have run a lap in practice or qualifying, so in order to make the race tonight, they're going to need to get at least a 1:12.4 to make the field. We'll take a look at our qualifying results here tonight
Yeah, I was
as
gonna
we
say, so
check up
Ethan
on that.
Decatur right now, yeah, these folks are now they're on the track right now and they're trying to attempt a sub 112. So right
Our
now, yeah, let's go on the starting grid. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sky. You want to take the top 10
I can
tonight?
take the top 10. Let's
Go
go. Our
ahead.
Muhammad Alif is on pole tonight for Ball State University. To his outside will be his teammate, Cale Davidson, also of Ball State University. Jordan Johnson will roll off third tonight from Kent State, while Clint Halterman of UNC Charlotte will be fourth. David De Silva in his CIL debut here, not counting the clash, is going to roll off fifth with Ben Fiore of Marist College. Good result for him in sixth. Ryan Whitlock will roll off seventh for the University of Alabama at Huntsville, while Charles Wimbley will be eighth for Guildford College. Two CIL debuts here in the fifth row. It's Nick Henley in the 64 and Walker Green to his outside in the 48.
And unfortunately, this means now I'm going to have to talk about outside of top 10. The ones who couldn't get in, but close, is your one and only Drew Williams in the 123 car with a nice 109. And outside with him is Andrew Burrow for 12th place. Next up is Cohen Evans and Jason Wallet starting up in P13, P14 respectively. Jason Wallet coming back for another season, and it looks like he's doing okay, but unfortunately did not get that top 10 he wanted. Esteban Munoz in P5, P15, and Alexander Diamond joining him on the outside in P16. Behind them is going to be John LaFawn in P17 and Mark Turek in P18. Next up is going to be Brent Burton in P19 and Zachary Lindler, who we saw with his attempt, got a I would say, P20.
Mario Miranda from the University of Oklahoma will roll off 21st with Dylan Beatty in 22nd. Nick Stockner of Clemson rolls off 23rd, and another new driver to the series, Marlo Duncan, rolls off in 24th. Noah Massert will start 25th with Nicholas Patinella of the Penn College of Technology in 26th. Thornton Thomas, another new driver, will be 27th with CL Smith, Logan Smith of Auburn in 28th. Tyler Klingensmith, who I believe ran a couple races last season, will be 29th, and Matt Nordberg is going to roll off 30th.
So round about the rest outside of top 30 is going to be Jason Statirli in P31, Jonathan Eggy, P32. Behind them, Adrian Tubagovic in P33, Brady McManus in P34, and unfortunately last week's winner, Jay Cummings in P35 for Converse University, and Alex Hallinar in P36 joining him on the outside. And last but not least, Ethan Decatur in P37 and Jake Hall in P38. So those folks got to get a 1 minute and 12. But I want to ask you, Sky. You said the 107% rule. Can you elaborate that for our viewers tonight so they understand what is in place? Kind of what sets the standards for someone to have to get in this race tonight?
Yeah, so in order to make the field for any of these races, you need to run a lap time that is within 107% of the pole sitter's time. It's a rule we stole from old F1 for this season. And the pole time this race was our Muhammad Alif with a 1:07.725, which means in order to make the field for tonight's race, at some point in this session, you are going to need to run at least a 1:12.46. And a lot of drivers did that in practice. I believe the only ones who didn't do it in practice were Adrian Tubakovic, Thornton Thomas, and Ethan Decatur. Thomas then ran that lap in qualifying, which means in order to start the race tonight, Adrian Tubakovic and Ethan Decatur will need to have put down a 1:12.46 in the warm-up session. We're going to see if either of them pulled that off.
I was going to say
Tubakovic did not, and Decatur also did not. So I do not believe that Tubakovic or Decatur will be starting the race tonight, as they did not run a fast enough lap time.
Yeah, I was going to say I was really the whole time with my binoculars. I was looking at Ethan Decatur from afar, and unfortunately, he was not able to get it. His fastest lap was a minute 17. So, but as you stated, right, this is a way for us to really have a field that is contempt and that is able to, you know, not really slow up too much, especially throughout the field. So in a way, it's a good way to kind of set the standard for CIO, FC, I should say. And right now, the drivers are getting on grid. And right now, it looks like Ricky Paz, he is not driving, but he is in the command booth, it looks like. So he is giving them last words of advice. And we saw his little tangling with one of the drivers from last week's Sky.
Yeah, we got a full field out here. A lot of drivers who were not in the clash, who are kind of monopolizing the top few spots, are Muhammad Alif, Cale Davidson, Jordan Johnson. David De Silva, who qualified 5th here, is a really interesting driver here. He's new to the CIL. He qualified 5th tonight, and I believe he also had a top 5 run in the Clash last week. So he's come into the series as a new driver for this season, and he has made an immediate impact in this series starting 5th tonight. We're going to get some race analysis here on the broadcast. So we can tell you about tonight's race, Edward.
Yeah, and I was just gonna mention we gotta talk about the laps. How many laps are we doing? What time it is? It's time to go racing. But of course, it is 47 laps, and we have an hour and 55 minutes as a time limit. So if there's a lot of wrecks and caution, which we kind of did see in real life where IndyCar raced here last time at Laguna Seca, but it's 47 laps, and we have the rule that each driver has to have used one compound of each type. So they have to run a black tire and a red tire. If they run a black tire, they got to swap to a red tire. If they run a red tire here at the start, they got to go over to a black tire. Now, of course, it is going to be a race of attrition for these drivers, especially around this sandy track, because it is always going to be who saved the tires and who's going to get there. But of course, with small information from drivers here and there are saying that the Reds are going to be good enough for this race where they can last a good stint. But once again, it's all about how do you take care of those tires, the rears, and everything. Sky, one last comments before we go green?
Yeah, we've got fuel stops here. Fuel window should last about 20 to 25 laps, which is about half the race. The pit road speed limit, as mentioned, about 35 miles an hour. These drivers are going to bring it down through the corkscrew on this pace lap, and you'll get to see the full field fly down the hill through this corner, which is going to be a ton of fun here. This is a track that always provides a lot of action, a lot of racing. It's so narrow, and these cars are so close together that there's always going to be someone with their feelings hurt exiting this racetrack, and I think the Beef channel in the Discord will probably be having a really fun one tonight. Watching Cohen Evans right now, he's 13th. These drivers are making their way through the final 2 corners. Edward, do you want to take them to green?
Well, of course, and right now we got the pace car about to get off, and right now, folks, it is with great pleasure for me to really say that we are back for the 5th FC season opener here at CIL. Well, I should say here at Laguna Seca. It is green flag waving, and here we go at Laguna Seca. Right now, it looks like the leader, Muhammad Alif, is going to block on the inside. On the outside is going to be Cale Davidson. Ball stay 1-2 right there as they go 3 wide behind them for 3rd place, and it looks like it's going to be David De Silva. He goes up to P4, but right now on the outside, and looks like Jordan Johnson is going to send it in onto the inside, but wow, he makes his stick, and Jordan Johnson goes up to P2, and looks like David De Silva is going to capitalize on that for Cale Davidson and move up into P3.
Crash at the back. Mario Miranda's missing a rear wing at the back of the field after being run into by Nick Stockner. So we've already got one car with heavy damage limping. Jordan Johnson's moved through up to 2nd, and now he's going to chase down Muhammad Alif towards that carousel. No push to pass tonight with the system being broken, so it's going to be all on drafting, all on who can get the best run out of the corner, and it's looking like it's Jordan Johnson right now. He's trying to go around the outside of Muhammad Alif, and he can't quite get there. He'll pull back in behind as we head through the final corner and back towards the start-finish line.
I just had chills there. I mean, if he could make that pass on the outside, but remember, that compromised him a little bit, but does it really? Because there's no one behind them. The leaders are pulling away as Alif heads down into turn 1 with Jordan Johnson making a longer arc right there so that he can get the second apex and try to get it going. But looks like you said, we have no push to pass, no extra horsepower. So it's all about exit speed, how you really manage the tires. And honestly, it's really about how you wheel that thing around. But of course, if we see, oh, we got a spin in the back. It looks like a third car. It looks like it is David Da Silva that got spun around there in third place, and he's off track, but it looks like he gets the car rolling.
He's
Almost,
trying to.
kind of, but it looks like that rear spoiler.
Oh,
No,
don't do that.
David, don't do that. Did you not
Almost
see what
killed
happened
Jake Hall
last
right
week?
there.
Oh man, but luckily he didn't get anybody. But it looks like right now, it looks like a Leaf and Jordan Johnson are still pulling away by 3 seconds in front of the lead pack. But yeah, right now, David Da Silva, he was in third place, and unfortunately looks like he got tangled up with Cale Davidson and he got spun out there. But right now, it's going to be Jordan Johnson hunting down a Leaf with right now a 4-second, nearly, I was going to say a 4-second lead right there, right before they braked into the heavy braking zone. But a Leaf still with the fastest lap.
Yeah, we're going to get a replay of what happened to David Da Silva there. He was running in fourth at the time. He just lost it coming out of that corner. Wow, just overdrove it a bit on those cold tires, made contact with the car behind him, and a very dubious rejoin here directly into the path of Jake Hall.
That's not how you do it, man.
That is not how you do it. Jake Hall, lucky to get through that. I would not be surprised if the stewards have something to say about that. Also might want to take a look at Ryan Whitlock, because he might have taken some damage in that incident. He was the car who made contact with Da Silva from behind, and we might want to see if he is still keeping up the pace. I don't think he is. I think he might have pulled it into the pits after that.
Yeah. It looks like
Yeah,
David Da Silva.
Ryan Whitlock is in the pits. So Ryan Whitlock, front wing off the car, he's in the pits. That's going to take him out of contention for the win of this race.
I was gonna say Dylan Beatty, he is also out of the race too. It looks like he's also in the pits. It looks like Noah Massart is also in the pits. He looks like he's done for the day. So right now we've got, I believe, 6 cars just out of the race there from lap 1. Zach Lindler is also out. A lot of people, unfortunately, out of the race. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I'm sorry. Lindler is just a lap down. I'm so sorry, folks. But right now, as we see, it is currently a 1-2, a Leaf, and wait, hold on. It looks like Jordan Johnson. What happened to him?
He's still out there.
Okay. So, yes, folks. So, yeah, one thing to say right now, we're gonna probably say something misinformation here and wise, because right now we got the scoring loop kind of gutting in the Fritz, but hopefully we got things heads up. Yeah, it looks like iRacing is having a server issue, perhaps. So right now, the scoring pylon may reflect the wrong driver. So that is just a warning in advance for the folks at home. But Sky, look at that. We got the top 4 with red tires and the next 4 with hard tires. I mean, how do you analyze this? Like, when do you think they could go in for the pits now that we're 6 laps in? Or 5 laps in,
Well, I think the
say.
cars up front, I think Leaf, Johnson, Davidson, they've got a big enough gap to where they don't really have to worry about that. I mean, Leaf and Johnson are 4 seconds ahead of Davidson, who himself is 6 seconds ahead of Fiore. I think it's Ben Fiore mostly who might be worried about those alternates falling off, because he's only about half a second ahead of Clint Halterman, Charles Wimbley. All those guys behind him are giving him a really good fight. So I think he's going to be the driver that's going to have the most issues with these tires wearing out. As you see, yeah, our scoring ticker's having some issues. New iRacing update broke some stuff, but we're still racing on here. Leaf and Johnson are the top 2, followed by Davidson. We get a battle brewing back here. This is our 15th. This is Mark Turek. We're on board with him. Now we're on board with Esteban Munoz as we watch Wallet and LaFon go side by side. And Jason Wallet almost loses it off that corner. Keeps it straight, keeps it going, but very hazardous corner right there to go too wide, and it's really not wide enough to do that. And if you do it, there's a pretty good chance that one of you will go off the racetrack, as Jason Wallet did right there.
And right now we see Nick Henley trying to get at Cohen Evans here. Cohen Evans towards Nick Henley is right now getting the draft down the straightaway past the start-finish line, going to turn 1. He's going to look at the inside right now, and looks like who's going to be late on the brakes. It looks like Nick Henley is going to throw it in there, and he makes... Oh, I'm so sorry. That's Cohen Evans making the pass on Nick Henley. And looks like Nick got a little bit of that dirty as we saw him squabble a little bit. But I want to note, you're right. Ben Fiore, he is currently just being pushed around. But it looks
But
like it's
Munoz
going to
with the
be...
wing gone. Look at that. Esteban Munoz,
Whoa.
no front wing on that car,
Whoa,
and he is
yes.
slow, and he's almost making contact with Mark Turek from the
Oh,
Penn College of Technology there. Wonder
Esteban
what
Munoz.
happened to Esteban Munoz to knock that front wing off that car, because that's probably going to have to be a pit stop. I can't imagine he's going to be able to keep up the pace with that lack of downforce on the car. You see him almost going off the track right there. So
Yeah, I was going
he
to
is
say.
likely going to have to give up some spots here to Turek, Duncan, Wallet, everybody behind him, because he is going to have a
Oh!
really bad time getting through the corkscrew, as evidenced by Mark Turek going flying around him right there.
Yeah, that, like you said, the lack of downforce really affects that car, and especially on the right side of the car, and for those right-hand turns, it's gonna be difficult. But luckily, he drove it back to the pits. Esteban Munoz is gonna look like he's gonna get a fresh pair of front wings. He's gonna have to go in, and right now, Andrew Burrell in top 10 position right there, right now. So it looks like it's gonna be. Right now, the points paying position is going to go to Andrew Burrow in 10th place, but Drew Williams, he said, if I have nothing to say about it, I will, because he is currently trying to track him down and get that final points position. But behind them, John LaFawn, Jay Cummings, who, remember folks, Jay Cummings started dead last, and now he's up to P13. I mean, the Converse University, you picked the right guy this season, because this man, he is putting on a show.
Yeah, I mean, he has gone flying up through the field, and I think he's been helped by the fact that we've already lost about 8 cars from this race. I mean, we've got a lot of drivers who are in the pits who are out. I'm just going to give you a quick run through as Jake Cummings continues to work on John LaFawn. Some of the guys who are out of the race: Dylan Beatty, Brent Burton, Mario Miranda, Noah Masser, Ryan Whitlock, David De Silva, Matt Nordberg are all out of the race, with Zach Lindler and Jonathan Eggy a lap down. So we're only about 7 laps in, and we're already having a race of attrition with about 9 cars who are just off the racetrack.
Yeah, and right now, as we see, Jay Cummings, he's going to try and sniff on the inside. No, he does not, but he's going to try and make an outside exit, then cut in on that second apex right there. Try to hold it steady, not try to scrub those tires. And remember, he's on the hards. So I'm betting he did push he had to push a lot to get to where he is right now. But of course, once you get on those reds, I mean, if he's got a good car right there, he's going to go flying. And let's go on board with Jordan Johnson in P2. And once again, the top 2 just squabbling out. I mean, with the Leaf in front, you got to realize, Sky, with all this dirty air, you think Jordan Johnson could still keep up to pace with them in, let's say, 10 to 15 laps on these red tires?
Well, he's probably hoping so, and I mean, he doesn't have the push to pass. Maybe he's hoping that he can get some good runs off these corners, stick in behind a Leaf, and use the draft just to try and get him. I mean, you see it work at the oval tracks in IndyCar. This is not an oval track, but it is a track with some pretty long straights that you can get a little bit of draft on, and we'll see if Jordan Johnson maybe, down that front straight, he gets a good exit out of the last corner and is able to get some toe and sling it up alongside here. But that's probably going to be his best chance to make a move without any push to pass in today's race.
And definitely, I was going to say, it looks like a Leaf, he's also sending that car around as hard as he can, because he's currently also dipping his tires into the sand. But I gotta say, Jordan Johnson right now putting the pressure on a Leaf, and maybe something that a Leaf wasn't expecting. The fact is, at the end of the day, it's going to be whose tires can really last the longest, because we saw that Jordan Johnson can keep up with a Leaf, especially in the past season. And it looks like he goes wide. Can he make a run down here, down the straightaway right now, as a Leaf trying to get away, but with no avail, I should say. Jordan Johnson going to look on the outside, late on the braking, trying to stick it, but he won't be able to, and maybe try to switcheroo. But and he gets a little bit wide there. But, I mean, as I said, these tires, how long are they going to last?
Yeah, I mean, these alternates are probably going to be fading quick, but again, it's not something that I expect these front 2 to really be worried about, because they have pulled up such a big gap. Leaf and Johnson are now 17 seconds ahead of the first car on the primary tires, that being Clint Halterman back there in 5th. I think the main worry with these softer tires are going to come from the guys who are kind of more stuck back in the pack. Ticker issues are continuing, but Cohen Evans is on those softer tires back there in 8th, and he's kind of in the middle of a pack of a lot of cars who are not on those softer tires. So he's going to use those tires up, trying to blow past these people that he's quicker than, but as the tires start to fade, I have to imagine later in the run, Cohen Evans could be swallowed up by drivers like Nick Henley, Andrew Burrell, all of them who are kind of in that area with him. Mark Turek, another driver who's mid-pack on those soft tires, who could have some issues later in this run because he hasn't pulled out to the huge lead that Alif and Johnson have in the early going.
Yeah, and it's one thing to really note here is the fact that it's points day, right, Sky? We got points to give out tonight for our first race of this, first official points paying race of the season, and that means Drew Williams, he wants that. Right now, sitting in 11th, just getting really, really close to Andrew Burrow right there. So fighting him right now, teammates, I should say, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting battle between these teammates, but I can't imagine any team orders are going to truly come into play here. We are doing it a little differently from how we've done previous road seasons, where we are doing full field points. So P10 only about 1 point more than P11 here, in contrast to maybe some past seasons of Formula C, where you'd get drivers only in the top 10 getting points, and you'd see these really good fights for P10 back there. But that's not going to diminish the fact that Andrew Williams really wants to be in the top 10 there. I mean, it might not pay that many more points, but it feels a lot better to say you had a top 10 than a top 11 at the end of the race. Ask me how I know.
How do you know, Sky?
Oh, I was 11th at the Clash.
Oh, but
huge send from Jake Cummings up the inside of John LaFon there. Look at that move. He's got it back on the inside going into turn 9. He's going to run LaFon a little wide, and he's going to get the move done. Jake Cummings up the inside of John LaFon through turn 9. What a huge move from him. Now he'll set his sights on Drew Williams.
Round of applause for that overtake through the course driving Jake Cummings. He's been stalking him for a while now. I mean, we saw him just waiting for the opportunity, ready to pounce, and he did so on John LaFon into the corkscrew. I mean, what a run right there. But of course, Mark Turek now trying to capitalize on John LaFon's right now in P11. But right in front of them, I should say, Drew Williams still trying to battle it out with Andrew Burrow for the top 10. And Jake Cummings is right there with them. I mean, and he goes a little bit off there, John LaFon, but he looks like he's fine. But, I mean, top 10 is going to be interesting here, as all of them are on the same strategy, right? They're all on the hard. So it's about who's going to pit to really, I should say, who's going to underpit. And it looks like it. Oh, and he did. He sent it in. Andrew Burrell, absolutely on the outside, could not stick it with Drew Williams sending it in. Sky, no papaya rules tonight?
Go all the way at it. They're going to be fighting until the very last second here in this race. They both want it bad. We're going to see John LaFon up the inside of Burrell. They beat and they bang, and Burrell is off the racetrack, and that is going to cost him about 4 positions and probably some of the lifespan of his car there. I can't imagine his car is going to escape too well. Maybe some wheel damage after that fender bender with John LaFon there, bullying his way to the 10th position. But he's still under threat from Mark Turek, who is on those faster primary tires and trying to make something happen here. This is the battle for 10th place. It is right on the ticker. And Mark Turek has gone through the grass there to go side by side with LaFon. Is he going to get it on the outside? He is not going to get it on the outside yet. He's going to try to go side by side into a corner that LaFon has had nightmares about, and he'll get it around the outside into turn 7.
I mean, that pass through the sand, I mean, that reminded me of Kobayashi the other day. I saw him online. It just... These guys, they really want it so badly, even if it's 1 point. But, I mean, Sky, I was going to say, never ask me about what happened in Talladega last Monday. Never ask you what happened in the Clash. And never ask to Andrew Burrell what happened on lap 14 in the corkscrew. Because it looked like Andrew Burrell
has just come into the pits, by the way.
Yeah, it looks like John LaFon. He's going to be the first one on those hards. So, like I said earlier, Scott, the underpit. Let's see if John LaFon can get a good outlap on the red tires and maybe jump into that top 10.
I wonder if he's suffering from some damage here from maybe that collision that he had with Andrew Burrell, because this is really early for a pit stop. I mean, pitting now. I have to imagine he's going to have to make a second pit stop here pretty soon.
I'm
Because
so
I don't think with 34 to go, he has enough gas to make it all the way to the end of this race. So we'll see how it works out for him. I'm not sure how it will work out for him, but he's going to try to get himself going here. We talked about how Jake Cummings was up a lot of spots early in this race. He was up from 35th to 10th. Another big mover, Jake Hall, started 38th in this race, dead last. He has moved himself up to 20th in the early going just by keeping it steady and not getting involved with any other drivers. So good runs for Jake Cummings and Jake Hall. Both Jakes up a lot of spots. Marlo Duncan currently plus 11. He is running in the 13th position after starting 24th, and a couple spots behind him is Thornton Thomas, 16th after starting 27th.
And that is our CIL biggest movers of the night, with Jake Cummings taking that easily, being in the first one there with all those positions gained. But I want to say one thing that we didn't see, and I saw this in the binoculars from here up top in the tower. It looked like Brady McManus almost wrecked out the top two as they were heading down the last corner, down the straightaway. He unfortunately went a little bit wide there and kind of spun out there. So a good thing he got out of their way, but close call for the leaders.
I think that's the first time I've seen him almost hit a leader tonight. So I wonder if Stewards might have something to say about that one. We're on board with Jason Waller.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Jordan Johnson. Jordan Johnson is in front. He just made the pass.
Jordan
oh my
Johnson
God.
made a pass for the lead.
He made the pass
Jordan
for the
Johnson
lead.
made a pass for the lead on our Muhammad Alif. We'll see
It
if
is
we
a
can get
race
replay of
leader
that.
change.
It was in the corkscrew just a lap ago, and it was one hell of a send for Jordan Johnson up the inside of our Muhammad Alif, but he might have given himself a little bit of damage in the process here, colliding with the back wing of Alif as he got the move. It's lap 15 in the corkscrew. Jordan Johnson with a huge overtake on our Muhammad Alif. We'll see if Alif could try to do the same thing here. He won't be able to. But Jordan Johnson is your race leader, and our Muhammad Alif is trailing, and he'll try to make the move to take the lead away.
And things just got interesting because now Jordan Johnson now sets the idea. Will Alif try to underpin him with those red tires? Because now it's now gonna be a race here with lap traffic up ahead. So Jordan Johnson can't just pull away that easily. But I mean, to be honest, during that lap before we got into that lap traffic, Jordan Johnson got through. He got away with it. So these lap traffic are gonna give Alif maybe a hope, maybe a little bit that he can make the pass. But and a little bit of lap traffic there holds up Alif right there. Jordan Johnson tries to make the move, and he's zooming through left and right, trying to get past them and put a distance between him and Alif.
Yeah, we're 15 laps into this race. Look at some of the positions of guys who are being lapped. That was Jake Hall, who just got put a lap down. He's running 15th. Nicholas Patinella, who's the car between Alif and Johnson right now, running 14th. Up to 14th is currently lapped in this race, and Patinella's on the alternate tires. That shows the pace of these drivers. I mean, guys like Turek, who we've watched battle here, are closer to the leaders than they are closer to the leaders from behind than they are to the front.
I'm so sorry about that.
Fast.
Nick Stockner nearly got into Jordan Johnson. Oh, he did it again. Nick Stockner. He literally. I'm so sorry to really catch you off guard there, but Nick Stockner, he's currently trying to hold him up. I think he's trying to battle himself to stay in the lead, to stay on the lead lap. And Jordan Johnson angrily over the radio, and it looks like still Nick Stockner side by side trying to fight against the leader. But now Jordan Johnson got through, but look who's behind them. Alif caught up. But I'm telling you, if you saw it on the last corner going down on the straightaway, it looked like Nick Stockner just parked the car there. His tires locked up right in front of Jordan Johnson and nearly took him out of contention.
It's really a battle here between these top two. Alif is trying to get him, but every time he tries to get him, Jordan Johnson pulls that little bit away, and you might be wondering, all those laps he was sitting behind Alif, was he maybe saving a little bit of tire, waiting, biding his time until he could make a crazy send up through the corkscrew on lap 15 and get that spot away from him to steal the second position.
But think about it. Jordan Johnson, all those laps behind our Muhammad Alif. So he's getting all that dirty air, pushing hard, but then makes the pass, and now he's in clean air, and he's putting in the lap. So maybe it was just a case that Alif just trying to hold him up, because maybe in the other sectors, Jordan Johnson's got the upper hand.
Yeah, I mean, we missed the pass. We've had so much going on in this race tonight. We can maybe try and get back to it if we get a chance. It was one of the craziest moves I think I've seen in the CIL, and really a testament to this new IndyCar era that Jordan Johnson was able to pull it off in the first place. He is looking to stay ahead of Alif. He's coming up on the lap car of David De Silva, who has gotten back on the track after that early incident, currently running 10 laps down in this race. But then after he gets past De Silva, he's kind of got a gap in front of him. Because once he gets past De Silva, it's about 10 seconds up to Alexander Diamond running 13th, who is the next car who would be lapped. So there's a pretty good gap there. We're going to watch Drew Williams here. He's 11th place right now, trying to battle with Nick Henley in 10th. Can he close that gap? They're both on the hard tires, so it'll be interesting to see if he's able to use those tires up and get up to Nick Henley.
I was gonna say they have yet to pit in, as they have to mandatory. They have to get those reds, but who's gonna try and underpit? But I want to mention, I mean, Scott has a joke. I mean, I guess it's an inside joke now. It's a lost footage of the legendary Jordan Johnson pass on a leaf and the switcheroo down the corkscrew. I mean, folks, if only you could see it. But anyways, right now, Charles Wimbley trying to chase down Clint Halterman in P4, but he's not going to be. Oh well, he's a little bit far away. I thought he was a little bit closer. Sorry, folks. I had the right, like the mirrors when they're closer appear closer than they are. But right now, it's Nick Stockner. Oh, sorry, we are on board with J. Cole here and P20. The battle, the battle of P19, I should say, as J. Cole goes off track.
Good save.
Good save, but I mean, CLFC is so back. If we're gonna have some commentary curse, as down through the corkscrew is Nicholas Panella trying to hold off. It looks like Cale Davidson right there, but Nick Stockner trying to catch up to Nicholas Panella. So it's the battle of the Nicholas here in P16 for P15, I should say. So it is the battle of Nicholas down the straightaway.
Yeah, I mean, we've had our Jakes who have gone flying up to the field. We've got our Nicholases who are in a tight battle for P15. The difference here being that Patnella is actually on those alternate tires, but he's mid-pack and he's about 20 laps into the run. So you have to question if that's really working for him compared to the primary tires that Stockner's on. And Patnella's gotten around the lap car here of Zach Lindler, who's kind of holding up Nick Stockner, and maybe Patnella can use that as a pick to get away from the both of them.
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting because we see, look who still hasn't pitted in. Clint Halterman, Wheatley, as well as Jason Wallet, Burl, Diamond. But right now, it looks like, if I am not mistaken, yeah, it looks like it's going to be still up front. I would say one thing to note, Jade Cummings, he's currently in P9, still on those hards, and have yet to pit for the Reds. So one could say right now, I mean, with like you said, you could have said it, but even like you couldn't have said it any better. There's so much happening right now on the track and a lot of storylines. But of course, one thing to note, Jordan Johnson and Alif up front now with 21 laps in, and we have 28 left. Who's gonna be the first one to pit? Sky, what would you do as Alif?
If I'm Alif, I'm taking the undercut. I'm coming in first. I think that's the best way to get around Jordan Johnson because he's a second ahead, and it's pretty clear that he's pulling away from me at this point. So if I'm our Muhammad Alif, I think I just want to maybe come in, not this lap because I don't know if he's good on fuel yet. Give it about 1 or 2 more laps and then bring it down, pull the undercut, make sure you're good on fuel, and then you can use that to blast away and try to get around Jordan Johnson here. I think that's the best strategy for him right now as we watch Drew Williams pull to the inside of Nick Henley for P10. He's going to get it up the inside, and he's going to get the move done. Drew Williams into the top 10.
Yeah, and that is going to be a CIL move of the day for Drew Williams as he is now in P10 and for the points. And of course, every point matters. You never know what's going to happen towards the end of the season. That being said, I want to mention Jordan Johnson, another 3/10 faster than Alif in that last time around. So it's going to be really interesting to see on the long run. Jordan Johnson, he's just pulling away.
Yeah, and the ticker is a bit all over the place. We are, as mentioned earlier tonight, having some iRacing server issues with this new update that are kind of causing some issues to the ticker. I promise Jake Cummings did not run a 36-second lap last time around. I don't think he did that fast unless he cut about half the racetrack. But we're still out here. We got Jordan Johnson there running a 108.395 and a leaf 2/10 slower on a 108.564. Here's a move. Jake Cummings on a lap car getting around him down the straightaway. He'll make that move stick on Esteban Munoz, and now he's got 5 seconds of clear air in front of him up to Brent Burton, the next lap car in 27th. 6 seconds to Cohen Evan, the next car overall in 9th.
Yeah, so let's go through the top 10 as of right now. So right now, it looks like it's, of course, yours truly. And well, hold on!
In the pits.
Never mind. Let's talk about top 10 after the pits, because right now, Jordan Johnson in the pits with the leaf and in front. But looks like a leaf kind of got close to him there. He used all he could to get as close as they're both going to be near, I think, almost less than 2 pit stalls away from each other right now. Jordan Johnson pits in first, a leaf second. Now it's all up to the pit crews. What can the pit crew do right now? Who's going to be out first? It looks like it's going to be Jordan Johnson, and it looks like Cale Davidson is there, but Jordan Johnson looks like he spun the tires a little bit, and a leaf is going to take over. Oh, and a leaf is in the wall. I'm sorry, Jordan Johnson is in the wall. Oh no, your race leader potentially has crashed out, and a leaf is in
crashes out of the pit lane. And with that, he's basically given the lead and maybe the win to Muhammad Alif. He's taken the lead over. We're going to get a replay of this coming out of the pits there. Jordan Johnson, he's trying to get on the gas. He saw himself losing that time to Muhammad Alif, panicked, dropped the throttle, and just got too much, sent the car sideways into the inside wall, and Jordan Johnson is done.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, folks, for misinterpreting that, thinking that it was a leaf spinning. At first, I don't know why my brain saw, oh, a leaf is trying to get quick, just trying to undercut him and get fast on the gas, and I just let it slip. I mean, I'm very sorry for Leaf fans, because he is not crashed out. He is currently in P2, trying to get on to Clint Halterman on those old tires, but remember, as looks like Clint Halterman has now, Beak of the Devil, has pitted in now, and he's going to go on the alternates. But, wait. If it's going to be a leaf in first, Cale Davidson is up in second. We have a Ball State 1-2.
The great wall of ball, we thought it was gone last season. It has come back in full force. Muhammad Alif P1, Cale Davidson P2, and after this pit stop, it's looking like Clint Halterman might be the one that comes out in P3 of this race. But he's going to be under threat from Ben Fiore, who's jumped him there for third on pit exit. So Muhammad Alif P1, Cale Davidson P2, and on those primary tires, Ben Fiore of Marist College makes the move up to third, with Clint Halterman in fourth and Walker Green having a good race on debut in fifth.
I mean, I just wanted to give a little update there. Lap 24 incident between the car 4 and 12. That was Jordan Johnson and Muhammad Alif. No further action from the stewards. No action will be taken further. So looks like it's going to be in front. Alif with Davidson. The great ball of wall. I thought this was done for. And it's back. So CILFC is so back. And Jason Wallet trying to get back at Walker Green for P6.
We're still working our way through the pit cycle here. Most of the top 10 has come in. It's Jason Wallet and Alexander Diamond, the two Drexel cars, who are both staying out and running something of an interesting pit strategy to try and keep themselves up through the field here. And we'll see if that maybe works out for them, staying out a little longer on a bit of an overcut to make sure they have to run less laps on those alternate tires. Also not pitting yet is Esteban Munoz, who's in 13th, but I believe every other car in the field about has made a pit stop so far. So we're going to start going through the field here, and in first place, your race leader is Muhammad Alif of Ball State University. Yeah, ignore what the ticker is having some more issues. Muhammad Alif is your leader of this race from Ball State University, 8 seconds ahead of his teammate in second place, Cale Davidson. Behind them is third place Ben Fiore of Marist College, having a really quiet day, but a really good one. He jumped Clint Halterman on that pit stop, because Clint Halterman now sits in fourth. Charles Wembley, another driver having a really quiet day, but one that's really good for him, with Walker Green on debut running 6th. Jason Wallet hasn't made a pit stop yet. He is P7 with he is P8. My bad. Cohen Evans has made the overtake on those tires, on those new tires. He's in P7. Jake Cummings has moved from 35th up to 9th and is also missing his rear wing. What happened there? Is that a graphical issue?
That is a graphical issue. I can't confirm right now with the binoculars on down the straightaway. His car is fine, and he's making the pass right now. Passing right now. Oh, at Cohen. No, sorry, not Cohen Evans. That was Tyler Klingensmith, lap car in P21. But still, another overtake, and Jason Wallet finally fulfills his duties of getting that red tires on. So he's gonna be out with those fresh red tires. He's currently going down the scoreboard, but he's gonna go up with those red soft tires, fresh off the factory. I don't know. Yeah. But of course, I just want to say quickly that Jake Cummings is the last one in the top 10, I believe, who hasn't pitted then for tires.
No, he
yet.
has pitted. He has pitted.
Oh, he has pitted? I'm so sorry. So he has pitted. So right now he is up in P8, making up ground.
Pat Noah.
Yeah, it looks like Nicholas Panella is going to take a nice little drive through the sand. But I want to also say, so Nick Henley right now, he's in P10 for the points with Mark Turek right behind him, trying to catch up with a 5-second deficit.
Yeah, let's watch Mark Turek here. He is 5 seconds back of Nick Henley. He's got one lap car in the middle. That's David De Silva. Still running about 10 laps down after that earlier accident. Thornton Thomas is in 12th right now, 3 seconds back of Mark Turek, with Marlo Duncan in P13. Another driver having a really good debut race tonight. And he's hoping I don't think he ran the Clash. I think it's his first race in the CIL, and he's got some pretty good momentum going tonight, and hopefully he can keep that up here through some future races. I mean, a couple drivers with really good debuts. Walker Green, new driver of the series in P6. Nick Henley, P10. Thornton Thomas is up 15 from where he started in P12. A lot of drivers having some really quiet but really good days on debut, which is always what you want to see.
Yeah, and I want to quickly say a quick shout out to all these new drivers, and of course, if you're ever interested in joining our league, always check us out in the CIL Discord. It's a link in below in the description. Feel free to check it out, and of course, we welcome everyone with the requirement, of course. But right now, Walker Green trying to trail behind as it looks like it's Charles Wembley up through the front stretch. It looks like he's getting a good draft, but I don't think he's going to be there yet. It's down into turn 1. Walker Green is going to have to settle and wait for another opportunity, maybe the next time around on the front stretch. But yeah, like I said, shout out to all these new rookies who are having a fantastic day here for the CIL FC Season 7 opener. Oh, sorry, 5th season opener.
Charles Wembley's not a driver I feel like we see a lot of in these races, but he's a driver who is very good at road racing. He made the Cup Series playoffs last time around with a race win. He's run really good pretty much every time we've gone to a road course in the CIL College Cup Series, and he's here in the IndyCar Series, showing that his road experience is not just limited to stock cars. He's got a 5th place run going right now. It's under threat from Walker Green at the minute after this pit stop. Both drivers on those softer alternate tires, trying to make up some time on the cars further up in the field. But yeah, another driver who maybe wasn't quite a favorite coming in, but he's shown a lot of speed this race, and he's having a really good day, putting some of the field on watch here for later on in the season.
Yeah, and Charles Wembley, definitely a day that he wants to have tonight in P5. Of course, being stalked by Walker Green behind them. Because remember, folks, this past Monday for the season opener for the Seattle Cup Series, he failed to qualify on speed for Talladega. So tonight, in top 5 for the season opener for FC, maybe it's luck finally turned around.
Hey, he's not the only driver in this field who failed to qualify for the Cup race. Jason Wallet also did not qualify for the Cup Series race on Monday, and here he is running. I believe that ticker is incorrect. I think he's in P14 right now in the race. But yeah, another driver who did not have a good time, didn't even get into the Cup Series race, but he's having a good time here in the Formula cars.
Yeah, you should have seen his Twitter. His tweet was crazy. But anyways,
he was not happy.
He was not happy. I can tell you that, folks. But right now, someone who's not happy is Walker Green, because he's still trying to get past him. Maybe on this front stretch, if he has a good exit here out of the last corner, he might have a chance, but all this dirty air and pushing on these alternates, it's not gonna help out with the tire, isn't it, Sky?
No, it's not. The thing is, Wembley is also on the alternates, and I have to imagine he's pushing a hell of a lot to try and get away from Walker Green right now, and his sense onto these corners. Look at he's trying to get it. We see the stints there. So basically, how long it's been since you pit. Davidson on 7, Alif on 7, who is still in the lead. Our ticker really hates our Muhammad Alif tonight. Fiore also pit on the same lap. He's on 7 laps. Walker Green is on 1 lap fresher tires than Charles Wembley. So as this race heads into later stages, that might be something that could work to his advantage. It's not a lot, but he'll take any advantage he can get in trying to get past Charles Wembley for this 5th position.
I'm sorry, we have a potential overtake right now. Cohen Evans being stalked behind by Jake Cummings. Cohen Evans with those primers. Oh, and Jake Cummings, he goes off track, but what a save. He kept his foot on it, and he's still sending it in. As right now, Cohen Evans in P7, and Jake Cummings, he wants to still go up. He wants more points. He knows he has a car, and with those red alternates, which relatively are 7 laps old, they could still make it happen. Right now, Walker Green once again trying to get on to Charles Wembley for P5. Up the straightaway here, trying to still get the draft. But once again, he's not there. He gets a little bit of oversteering off the corner in that last. But before that, it's just all about putting in the laps, trying to maintain that distance not too far. But it looks like his tires are going away.
Yeah, that's battle still raging. Jake Cummings, or Cohen Evans has just crashed, or he's gone off the track pretty severely. He was ahead of Jake Cummings, and right as we cut back to him, he went about 1.5 seconds back. I think he had a pretty big off through that corner, so he's now 7th, or he's now 8th. Jake Cummings has gone back to P7, and we're back on with Walker Green. Looking at Charles Wembley. These cars kind of in their own little orbit here. 4 seconds ahead of Jake Cummings, 13 back of Clint Halterman, but they're going at it still right now, and this battle has not dimmed in intensity at all. Walker Green's been back there for multiple laps, and he is still trying to find a way around Charles Wembley. He's still going down the front straightaway here. I believe we've had a couple more cars who have crashed. Esteban Munoz got in an accident. He is out of the race. As mentioned, Jordan Johnson is out. Brent Burton is out. Brady McManus is out. Jonathan Eggy is out. And Jason Satterley is out. So we haven't updated you on those in a while. Those are all the cars out of the race since the last time we checked up on that. Jake Hall has gone 2 laps down. So has Zach Lindler. This is for P16, 15, I believe. 15. Andrew Burrow and Alex Diamond going at it. Diamond, a driver, he had a pretty good qualifying run. Hasn't quite lived up to that in the race. I believe he's running about 1 spot lower than where he qualified right now. But he's trying to get that spot back, chasing down Andrew Burrow for 15th place.
Yeah, it looks like there's a whole field of dogfighting going around here and there. But, of course, with now lap 33 coming to an end, let's take a short break to allow us folks to breathe because so much is happening. So let's do a CIL FC Turn It Up. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
All right, we're back in the CIL Formula College Series. We've got Charles Wembley still holding on that spot. You saw Walker Green try to send a move on him, but it didn't quite work. Charles Wembley holds on to the spot for now, running 5th place in this race behind our Muhammad Ali, Cale Davidson, Ben Fiore, and Clint Halterman. I think we've actually maybe got another battle up there between Clint Halterman and Ben Fiore. They are within a couple tenths of each other here. Yeah, here we go. Clint Halterman right on the bumper of Ben Fiore for this final spot on the podium, going down through the final sector of the racetrack. Halterman tries to try on the outside. He can't get there. He'll try it again on the outside. Ben Fiore is going to pinch him off, and again, Halterman forced wide, can't do anything. Can he get a run down the straightaway here? Let's find out. He's got the draft going. The gap is going down. Can Clint Halterman find a move on Ben Fiore up the inside? Not enough, but he is trying. He's trying to make it happen. Just hasn't quite got there yet. But it is so
send it in here.
In this battle.
I was gonna say, right now with those reds, as you see up front, Ben Fiore, he's on the hards. He's on the primaries. So the advantage goes to Clint Halterman, and I've been watching him for the last 2 laps in the infield, and I should say in the middle sectors, where all the technicals, he is right there with them. Ben Fiore just not able to put the power down quick enough as Clint Halterman, and Clint being impatient, wanting to get around. He wants that P3. He wants to be on the podium tonight.
Yeah, we're going to go down in the corkscrew here. It's a big chance for an overtake, but he can't get there. We saw how hard Clint Halterman tried in the last sector of the track last time around. We'll see what he can do this time around. He's still close, within 2 tenths off the bumper of Fiore. That's well within send range, but he can't get it done there. Fiore outbrakes him into the corner and gets a pretty good run off, and that'll send Halterman back for the time being.
I don't think outbreaking was the right word. They're more like closing the door on him. I mean, he moved over a little bit last second, but once again, he gets to breathe another lap. But Clint Halterman, I know he's getting more and more impatient, because in front, Cale Davidson is pulling away. He's now 16 seconds in front of P3. So right now, if Clint Halterman makes the pass on Ben Fiore, I think it is just going to be P3 for tonight.
Well, we might have an interview here coming up in the elevator. Ricky Paz, the FC director, would like to maybe have an interview here, so we'll get a talk with him going and see what he thinks about this race. All right, hey Ricky, what's up? You're the FC director for this season. First race in charge of Formula College. Are you liking what you're seeing?
Absolutely. This is exactly what I had envisioned for the future of the league. As Season 5 in the Formula College Series, I'm just really excited to see what iRacing has brought us today. And, you know, we've got some great competitors here. Been some great battles, both from the mid-pack to the front to the back. So I think this was the right decision for us and our future in our open wheel offerings here at CIL. And I can't wait to see where the rest of the season takes us.
And Ricky, I was gonna say thank you so much for all of the work you've done, and of course the decision to bring us back to IndyCar. Couldn't have done it any better. As right now we see, sorry, but it looks like Clint Halterman almost going off track here. But thank you so much for helping and creating this environment, cultivating it to a competitive level.
Absolutely. Thanks for doing all you guys do in the booth. You know, if you like what you're seeing and you are a college student, we're always welcome, permitted that you meet our requirements, but we're always looking for some more college competition, and what better way to do it than the best open wheel car in the United States of America.
Hell yeah, USA, USA, indeed. And of course, right now, Clint Halterman trying to outbrake Ben Fiore into the last corner, but of course, he couldn't get him, and also pulling away again. But with lap traffic up ahead, maybe something is going to happen in the next few laps, with 9 laps to go here in the Monterey Grand Prix.
Believe here is dominating this race. We saw him take the lead after Jordan Johnson crashed himself out on the pit exit, and he's really just had a nice Sunday, or I guess Wednesday drive since then. 10 seconds ahead of his teammate Cale Davidson. He's through lap traffic, and he's got 6 seconds up to the next lap car of Nick Stockner. He's fine. Jake Cummings with a move on Walker Green. That'll put him up to 6th, and now he is going to be the car who tries to get Charles Wembley there for 5th. Can he make that up with 9 laps to go? He'll try to get a move going on Charles Wimbley and take the 5th. He started this race all the way back in 35th position, and he is up to P6. Jake Cummings from 35th to 6th, up 29 spots today.
You know, if you remember, Lewis Hamilton's from last to first in 2021, Brazil, died in 2021. Welcome back, Lewis Hamilton, 2024, in the form of Jake Cummings. P6 from almost dead last. I mean, the man is on a mission. He has a good car, and he wants to get up there.
Yeah, he is pulling away right now. We're back on with Clint Halterman, who is still with 8 laps to go. Wants that spot. He's going at it on Ben Fiore. This is
Sky,
a battle
look at it.
for
Lap
the
traffic.
podium.
Lap traffic,
third.
Sky.
We've got lap traffic up here. Andrew Burrell, Alex Diamond, the 2 lap cars up there in front of him. Clint Halterman, our alumni race winner, pretty much no matter what happens, because he's about 7 spots ahead of Mark Turek. But he doesn't just want the alumni win, he wants the podium as well, and he'll look on Marist College's Ben Fiore to try and get that.
I mean, think about it, Sky. Between 3rd and 4th, I mean, the points are major for these, especially going into the playoffs. And it looks like a little bit of Andrew Burrow holding up Ben Fiore through the corkscrew as Clint Halterman trying to hopefully not get in the back of Ben Fiore when they have a little checkup like that. But like I said, with these lap traffic in the way, it looks like Clint Halterman is going to send it in 3 wide.
Oh, he locked
down
it
the
up.
final corner. He locked it up, but he decided to lock it down and not wreck one. But right now, it looks like between them is Andrew Burrell. So, Clint Halterman, not happy, you would say?
Say he's not happy, but maybe a little bit more at himself there for locking it up, missing that corner so badly, because that's cost him a second. And he almost loses it out of turn 1. Clint Halterman with a great save to hold on to it now, but that's cost him 1.2 seconds to Burrell. And I have to imagine that big lockup into the corner has probably smoked his tires and is going to be the exact opposite of what he wants in his quest to get a podium. So now we're watching Mark Turek, and we're on board with Thornton Thomas chasing him down. This is for 11th spot. We've got a lap car of Brent Burton ahead of him, and Nick Henley up in 10th ahead of them. So this is your battle here for P11. Thornton Thomas in his debut in the series all over the bumper of the Penn College of Technology driver Mark Turek.
I mean, I want to say to these 2 gentlemen, I want to say don't fight, work together, because in front of Mark Turek, and he locks up. He locked up a little bit there, but in front of Mark Turek is Nick Henley, only 3 seconds away. So I would tell these drivers, hey, work together, get up to P10, and then go at it. Because right now, Nick Henley, looking in his back mirror, he is enjoying what he's seeing.
Yeah, he's not really having to deal with any hardcore stress here. Mark Turek still defending this position from Thornton Thomas. This is for, I believe, 11th place at the moment between these 2 cars. Mark Turek and Thornton Thomas it's either 9th or 11th. We're having ticker issues. We've had ticker issues all night. We're having a good time. Thornton Thomas still on the bumper of him down through the corkscrew here. He's going to try it in the final sector, but he doesn't get as good of a run out there as he would like. Right back up on the bumper through turn 10. He might get a try up here through turn 11. He won't. He'll stay in behind, and he'll try to get a run out on the straightaway, but Mark Turek gets a better run through there.
He's close right there. You saw that was a good exit by Thornton, as Thornton is going to try and hustle him down the straightaway into turn 1, and he's going to send it in deep. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can, almost. But it's that dirty air that Mark Turek is giving him, not being able to really capitalize on that. But Thornton trying to find that clean air, and a 5 to go warning. 5 laps to go as the lead takes the 5 to go flag. But right now, Thornton trying to make the pass on Mark Turek. He's going to go on the inside, and he sticks it on the inside. What a pass for Thornton as he moves up into P11.
You saw Turek almost spin the car there after he got passed by Thornton Thomas. Those tires starting to go on Mark Turek's 225 machine for the Penn College of Technology. And now Thornton Thomas is going to be in pursuit of Nick Henley here. This is for 8th place. Thornton Thomas, that gap was at 3.5 seconds. It's down to 1.6 seconds. Thornton Thomas is rapidly closing on Nick Henley to get another spot in this race. I believe that would be for P10 once the ticker updates.
I just wanted to quickly mention, he gained a whole second in that sector. Nick Henley, he's on the softs, and it looks like those alternates They are running out of life with 4 laps to go. So it could be Thornton a top 10 potential.
Yeah, Thornton, he is in 11th right now. That gap still continues to close. He seems to be a little better in the final sector of the track, but I mean, this is a great debut for Thornton Thomas, starting 27th and working his way up to 11th. Not just for him, but for some of the cars in front of him. Nick Henley on debut. He's the car he's chasing down in 10th. Walker Green on debut, running 7th. He's kind of blown up his tires here, but he's still holding on to 7th. As Jake Cummings and Charles Wimbley have pulled out about a 5-second gap on him from that close battle that we saw earlier. And Jake Cummings is trying to get from 35th to a top 5 with 4 laps to go.
I mean, I was going to mention earlier, I was watching Jake Cummings' lap times there, nearly almost a tenth quicker than Charles. He is getting faster through the technical corners, I should say technical sectors of the course, but it's just earlier he was 2 seconds behind. Now he is only less, really, he's right there through the corkscrew right now. As Jake Cummings of Converse University, he's trying to get onto Charles Wimbley. And once again, Charles Wimbley trying to hold off fast and charging Jake Cummings. I mean, Lewis Hamilton 2021 reborn right here from dead last to a potential top 5.
Yeah, he is coming. I mean, he didn't even make a qualifying effort. And he has gone all the way from 35th to 6th, and he's going to look to get 5th here on Charles Wimbley. He's not quite there yet, as the new fastest lap is run by our leader, our Muhammad Alif. Again, ignore what the ticker's saying. It is lying to you. Our Muhammad Alif is our race winner with 3 laps to go, and he's just run our fastest lap of the race towards the end of it with a 1:08.025, I believe that said. That's only about 3/10 off the lap that he ran in qualifying, and we are deep into this run.
Yeah, and I'd like to focus on this battle a lot, as right now 2 to go. It is 2 laps to go as Alif takes the flag. But I wanted to mention, we were talking about Thornton and Nick, and there's nothing really happening, so don't worry about that. It's currently a 1.5 of difference. So right now, the battle that we see closest on the track is between these 2 folks, Charles Wimbley and Jake Cummings. I mean, I didn't expect this. Jake, what is going on here from last to 5th? I mean, to 6th. I'm sorry, just like what Sky said, iRacing is lying to you. It's currently the battle for 5th.
Yeah, Jake Cummings still in pursuit. That gap has gone back up a little bit. It's up above half a second. You're peaking above it at times, peaking under it at other times. But with 2 to go, Jake Cummings, if he's going to mount a charge, he is going to need to mount it now. He is running out of time to get Charles Wimbley, and with only 2 laps left, he doesn't have push to pass because the game decided to delete it for tonight. So it is all on Jake Cummings and his driving ability to get up to Charles Wimbley and make the move with 2 to go, as our Muhammad Alif, your race leader, has taken the white flag.
Yeah, right now, our Muhammad Alif going through the corners. It looks like he is about to just walk away with another easy victory. But folks, don't forget, Jordan Johnson up there fighting with the Leaf. What they say? Could have, would have, should have. I mean, unfortunately, Jordan Johnson, during the pit stops, if you're just tuning in, he has spun out, and it looks like Jake Cummings, he is going into the pits. I think he is trying to serve a black flag, potentially, as he has incurred, I believe, he's incurred too many off-road penalties. I mean, off-track.
Whoa.
So it looks like he's going to try and dig the button. Whoa! And looks like somebody spun out of the corkscrew just as the Leaf was going through, but he got through safely. Fortunately enough, it looked like it was Drew Williams in P9. But it's going to be our Muhammad Alif for the 5th DIL FC season opener. He is going to take the checker flag. P1 for Boston University. Alif is back on top. Followed behind him is P2, Cale Davidson, to round about the great ball of wall, I should say. It has come back once again, and it looks like it's going to be a 1-2 finish. And Ben Fiore rounding about the top 3. Behind him, rounding about for that 55 car.
Yeah, Ben Fiore will take the podium, and Clint Halterman has had something happen while trying to make it to the line. Never mind, that is an iRacing issue. They like to glitch out on us tonight. Charles Wimbley is going to take 5th to the line. And then in 6th place, we've got a battle. It's Walker
Green
under pursuit from Cohen Evans through
What a
the final
battle!
section of this track. Can Walker Green hold on to it? Cohen Evans is there. He is pushing, but he has run out of time. Walker Green will take 6th. Cohen Evans will take 7th. And Jake Cummings will serve his penalty and still come to the line in 8th. The last car on the lead lap with Nick Henley 9th. Or with Drew Williams 9th and Nick Henley in 10th.
And those were your top 10. And of course, it looks like I don't know what they're doing. They're all. I was gonna say, are we lining up? Are we gonna go again? Because I would want to see another race after that, because that was completely. I don't even know what's the word tonight. I mean, we saw a great battle between Jordan Johnson and Alif, and then together during the pits, they were leaving, and they were literally phasing through each other, and unfortunately, Jordan Johnson spun out there. Alif walking off with the win. You got Jake Cummings from last to 8th. I mean, he was 5th. Unfortunately, looks like he got a penalty, a black flag. He had to serve it. Still finished P8. You've got Clint Halterman trying to get to Ben Fiore, but failed to. So Ben Fiore with a podium finish, I believe, for the 2nd time for his CILFC series. And rookies, we got Walker Green for his debut in P6 for the number 48 car, and Nick Henley, a top 10. I mean, there's so many going on. There's so many storylines. But Sky, you gotta help me out here. What are we gonna do now?
Yeah, I mean, you look at the front of the field, you see some storylines in the back of the field, some drivers that shouldn't have done well crashing out very early on in this race. Jordan Johnson, contender to win, finishes 27th after an accident. David De Silva got the car back on track, but he'll still finish 27th. Ryan Whitlock, 33rd. Mario Miranda, 35th. A lot of drivers who were expected to do really well in this race having some of the worst starts possible.
Yeah, and it boggles my mind how crazy of a lead Alif had, a 20-second lead over Cale Davidson, and only 8 cars finishing on the lead lap. I mean, we already know Alif's talked about this before in the preseason. He said, I'm not really an Indy guy, never really raced on Indy cars. And last week we saw in the clash, of course, running up there and unfortunately taken out. But in the first season, in the first points paying race, he walks away with a P1. I mean, the man, the myth, the legend, Muhammad Alif of Ball State University dominates once again in his Max Verstappen fashion in P1.
Yeah, we're actually going to try and get him up in the booth here for an interview. I don't think he's quite ready yet, but we're going to get there. We're going to get our top 3 interviewed here. It is Cale Davidson, it is our Muhammad Alif, and it is Ben Fiore we're going to have in the interview booth. Pretty similar top 3 to what we would see last season in the college prototype challenge. I mean, we kind of had a running joke in the CPC that every week it was going to be Jordan Johnson, our Muhammad Alif, and then one of either Cale Davidson or Ben Fiore in the interview booth by the end of the night. So good to see 3 of those 4 are back here for the first race in Formula C this season.
All right, so it looks like we're going to have our P2, the number 2 car, Cale Davidson of Ball State University. Let's bring him up to the booth. Cale Davidson, or you want to be called Dale Davidson? I mean, that looks like your new name these days. Congrats on a P2, which you saw what was happening up front. You went in the pits. I mean, my first question gotta be, what were your thoughts when you saw Alif and Jordan Johnson nearly wrecked with each other?
Well, I didn't actually see any of that because there's kind of a crest going up the hill, and they were at least like 6 seconds ahead. So all I saw was really a yellow flag, and then once I got over the crest of the hill, I saw Jordan halfway across the track, and Alif kind of informed me on what happened. So then from there, just kind of put the head down and try to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, compared to some other drivers, you had a fairly uneventful race, so I think you kind of just had fun out there driving the car. How was it? I mean, this is a new car to this series. You have fun with it at this track?
Yeah, so it's a new car, obviously. It's super fun because I get to work with IndyCar back home. But just kind of jumping around the car, I just focused on consistency. I knew it was a longer race, and I knew that there was a lot that was going to happen. I was kind of expecting more yellows and at least like one full course yellow. But for the most part, it was just like focusing on hitting your marks, like pit in, pit out, good pit stops, going fast, not making too many small mistakes, and then just executing an overall good race.
Congrats, Cale Davidson on the P2. It looks like we got our very own FC director here, and he wants to give a quick word.
Dale Davidson, congrats on your inaugural IndyCar P2. We're happy to have you on the podium in the first IndyCar race of our Formula College series. Can't be happy enough to see your dominance from previous seasons continue with the new car, and we're happy to see you, happy to have you for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And Cale Davidson, before we let you go here quickly, want to give a quick shout out?
Yeah, obviously want to shout out all my teammates, Nick, Dylan, Alif, and Lucas will be in next week. He's away for this moment. But then shout out to our esports director, Dan Marino and BK, and then shout out to Indy Hood Rats and Miller Farms for sponsoring the car.
Well, that was our P2, Cale Davidson of tonight's race, our season opener. Thank you, Cale, for joining us. And it's going to be next one up. We're going to bring Ben Fiore, the top 3, third place in the number 55 car. Ben Fiore, welcome to the booth. Congratulations on another podium finish for the 5th season of the CILFC. How are you feeling?
I gotta be honest, when I came into this race tonight on about 15 minutes of practice, I didn't think a podium was going to be a thing, let alone top 5. So I'm sitting down here in my chair, sweating like crazy. Thinking you would think New York's like the new California out here, but to coming away with the first race of the podium is a huge success, and honestly way better than like I said, way better than I honestly thought we were going to for round 1. So not bad.
Yeah, I mean, same question I had Cale Davidson. Your race wasn't quite as I'd say action-packed as some of the guys who were further in front of you there. So I think you had a lot of time to just kind of get used to the new car. How was it driving this new car around Laguna Seca?
Yeah, well, I think it probably goes without saying that this car drives completely different, to the Super Formula, where you have a lot of that twitchiness, a lot of that, that hard on the downforce. This kind of feels a bit more like a sports car. It's a bit lazier, which honestly, considering I drive a lot of sports car, GT and prototype stuff in my own time, it's a car that kind of, really kind of flows into my driving style. So when I heard the news we were going to the IndyCar this season, it was an absolute thumbs up for me. And honestly, just driving it was also a big mix because I haven't done a race long enough where I had to, push these alternate primary tires all the way to a limit of 20-25 laps in the stint. So it was a big learning curve throughout the race. And I think, like you said, Sky, not having a whole lot of pressure throughout the race, really gave me a chance to really get an idea of where the pace was, where the kind of cutoff was for how hard you can push the tires or how long you can push the stints. So honestly, it was a good learning session, and honestly, I didn't think a learning session would come out to a P3. So all is well so far, and honestly, IndyCar, and to Ricky and to everyone behind the scenes who make FC possible, thank the Lord for the IndyCar, because it's just it. It really is.
I got good news for you. Since you dropped the name Ricky Paz, he's here, the FC director here. Want to give a good quick word.
Ben, thank you for the kind words. We're happy to have you as a competitor. Congratulations on a podium finish in the inaugural IndyCar race of the Formula College Series. Season 5 is just getting started. We're absolutely elated to use the IndyCar. I'm absolutely elated to use the IndyCar. And man, do I wish I was on track tonight, but it was awesome to watch you guys slinging down there. Congratulations. Looking forward to some good battles later in the season.
Yeah, same here. I know you definitely got some pace. You're running a lot of those qualifying series races with some of the other guys in the league, so I'm looking forward to seeing you out there and probably kicking me and showing me a couple of tricks out there. So can't wait to see you on the track sometime soon there, Ricky.
All right. Stop it with the compliments before we let you go, Ben. You want to give a quick shout out?
Yeah, go ahead and give a couple of shout outs. I gotta give a big shout out to the folks I run with. I gotta give a shout out to O'Connor Motorsports, everybody on the team, Riley, Devin, Ryan, all the guys in the team I'm with. Also Aiken, who's been running some Enduros with us in the summer. So big shout out to them. They're not new to Aiken mentioned. I love to see it. Shout out to baby. Shout out to all the guys who pushed me all the summer. And also this league, especially running about the past year, has been really pushing me to really push my limits of what I can do as a driver in the Sims. So it's been great to be through all that. And of course, last but not least, a big shout out to Marist College. Hashtag Roll Foxes, baby. Podium first race. Can't lie. That's pretty awesome. Shout out to my boy AJ, who's a part of our esports organization. He gave us the opportunity to actually go and showcase it during a charity live stream during this past spring semester. So not quite the point where we're officially Marist Esports iRacing yet, but maybe one day, kind of plant the seeds there. So great to have the support of our esports organization here up in Poughkeepsie, here in Mid-State New York to get that support. So yeah, that's I think all I got for thanks. But of course also thanks to all the production team and to all you guys for making this series possible. This wouldn't be an awesome series. It wouldn't be fun to run every Wednesday night without you guys. So big shout out.
Damn, that last one got me real good. Thank you so much, Ben Fior. Well, like I said, congrats on the P3, and hopefully we see you up here. And take care. Good luck in your next one.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much. Roll Foxes, baby. Let's go.
And that was our P3 Ben Fiore New York mention, and once again, a congrats winner. But sorry, congrats P3. Now let's move on to the GOAT Alif, the Ball State guy, the one who's always here in P1. Everyone give a round of applause for this man. Our Muhammad Alif, Ball State University. I mean, I was just mentioning how, we always see you here, and once again, for the 5th season of CIL FC Opener, back up here in P1. I mean, tell me, how was it battling with Jordan Johnson, being passed by him, struggling to stay up with him, and then the Canon event, which happened during the pit stops?
Yeah, it was a roller coaster race, I would say. I mean, the track is roller coaster, so yeah, it was good just racing against Jordan. It was very unfortunate for him to lose his car like that on pit exit. Yeah, just cold tires really. So nothing really he could do about that rather than just backing off. But yeah, good win, good 1-2. We'll take that. And yeah, we go for the first oval round next round. So that's gonna be interesting.
What was kind of going through your head there when Jordan Johnson just lost it, kind of coming out of the pits? What were you thinking in that moment?
I was like, please don't lock up straight ahead. That was the only thing. I was like, I mean, I told Kale, who was right behind me, I was like, Kale, like, yeah, Jordan spun, just be careful on pit exit. And then after that, it was just saving fuel because we knew it was going to be down to a fuel race at the end. So just taking care of fuel and just bring the car home, we just focused on getting that 1-2 for Ball State.
Well, a man of few words, and yeah, the great ball of wall has returned. Maybe not its his full form with the 1-2-3-4 finish, but with the 1-2. And so right now we got Ricky Paz, our FC director, here to give you one last word of, I would say congratulations. And after that, please give us a quick shout out after that.
Our Muhammad Alif, congratulations on winning the inaugural IndyCar race of our Formula College series here in Collegiate iRacing League. We're absolutely astonished by your skill every single week. We love to have you. I love to compete against you, as I know a lot of other drivers do. And congratulations for everything you do. Would you mind giving us your shout outs as you head out?
Oh yeah, definitely. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to the broadcast booth. I think everyone who make this show possible and really entertaining for everyone to watch. And I want to give a shout out to Vortex Motorsports as well. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Vortex
Vortex mention.
I'm sorry. That's the only time I'm a biased commentator. Go ahead, keep going, Leaf.
Yeah, I want to also thank all my teammates. We had 2 academy drivers who just joined the team like 2 weeks ago as a walk-on. I think they did a good job. It was Nick and Dylan. They did a good job. And then Kale, as always, for doing a brilliant job. And Lucas, who's not here, who's in Kansas City because he didn't want to lose tonight, so probably didn't want to show up.
Ooh. No papaya rules. What I'm hearing is there's no papaya ruls. Ooh.
Nope. But yeah, shout out to him as well. And also the whole Ball State Esports team. Dan Marino, BK, our directors and assistant directors. Our new Dean as well, for supporting the program and the whole school. Really proud to bring back the 1-2 for the team. Thank you guys.
And thank you for putting on a show for our 5th season of the CLFC. Thank you so much, Alif, and good luck in your next one.
All right. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And looks like that was our race winner. And it's gonna be it's gonna be, like I said, a 1-2 ball state for the first race of the season. I mean, Sky, I just wanted to ask you this. Last week, the Clash, it was meant for us to really read the field, to really get at, engage who is going to be dominating in the season. And, you know, there were some people here and there. And of course, but before we do that, I'm so sorry, Clint Halterman is in the house, and we got him on the side ready because he is our alumni winner. So folks, top 3, of course, gets the interview. But Clint Halterman here in the booth, our alumni winner of the night, also gets to have an interview. Talk to me through, Clint. How does it feel to, unfortunately, get held up by Ben Fuhrer all those laps?
Yeah, I was thinking before the race, the push to pass glitch, if it was going to happen to any track, it might be good to happen to Laguna Seca just because how hard it was to pass, but didn't factor in that basically the only way to get a really good run was to, or have a shot at making it pass was with push to pass. So yeah, it kind of just, it's just lots of dirty air. It's only a couple overtaking spots. It was kind of realized in that first stint I was on the wrong strategy because the blacks just felt terrible the whole first stint, and needed to make those positions up at the beginning of the race, not at the end. So that stinks. But you know, I won't complain too much about P4. It was a pretty uneventful race up until I was able to catch up to Ben there. But yeah, I think I did a better job of keeping my tires on it than last week. But yeah, just was not meant to be. Got some lap traffic in there too, and just couldn't quite get the run on him to do anything. And he did a good job not making any mistakes either. So we'll take the P4.
Yeah, I mean, I asked the same thing to Ben. You said you didn't have the most eventful race, so I think that gave you a lot of time to try out this new car at this track. How'd you like it? Did you like the switch to IndyCar for this race?
Oh yeah, I love driving the big fan of the IndyCar. It's a little weird. Maybe I'm just not a big fan of Laguna Seca, but it is it was hard to. I was messing around with the bars a lot trying to get the adjustments right, because it felt pretty understeery through a lot of the corners. But I think that's just the nature of how Laguna is. More than the track. It's just cars just grips up so much. It's got so much downforce that some of these corners, it just is hard to. You're like on the edge of being flat, but not quite. But yeah, it's a really fun car. I was hoping for a little bit more tire wear. I think it didn't seem like the reds fell off a crazy amount versus the blacks. Like last week at Road America, the difference was insane after, I don't know, 10 laps or something like that. But yeah, I love this car. I'm looking forward to a lot more of the other road courses, especially some of the street courses. I think those are going to be really chaotic, and I think the tire wear there is going to also be pretty crazy.
All right, well, it's been a pleasure having you in the booth. And before we let you go, we got Ricky Paz, our FC director. He's going to give you a few words, and when he's done with that, give us a quick shout out.
Okay.
Clint, happy to have you in the league as always. We know that you've been a dominating force in here and always a real good racer on track. Congratulations on P4 and most importantly, the inaugural alumni win for the IndyCar portion of our Formula College Series. I know that you and I have competed against each other a lot, both in CIL and in the IndyCar Pro Series. I've been absolutely amazed to see your talent, and I'm hoping to not only see more of it in the league as we go forward, but also compete against you. Always happy to have you, and congratulations again.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. Hoping to get a little more talent so I can compete with those Ball State cars. I feel like getting deja vu from last year. I feel like I was always finishing right by Kale and Alif and then Jordan for the races he was in. So yeah, hoping to get a little bit better to be more competitive. But yeah, shout out the Orange Wheel Racing team. I know fortunately Ryan had he had a pretty good start. I think he got caught up in something there, so that was really unfortunate. And then some of the other guys had some issues, but we brought home some solid finishes across the board. So it's good to start out the season like that. It's gonna be interesting heading to an oval next week. Got a lot of, I know, road course ringers. Ironically, I feel like I'm a little nervous because even though I probably am more of an oval guy, I'm not really an oval guy in these cars. I like the road courses more. But yeah, anyway, shout out to them. Shout out to y'all for putting on this broadcast tonight.
Thank you so much, Claire Halterman. A gem, I should say, in the booth as always. Congratulations on the alumni winner. Hopefully next time you get that podium.
All right, thank you guys.
And folks, let's go and talk about the grid because this top 10 finish was spectacular. Sky, lead us this way.
All right, we got our final results for the race for you here tonight. We're getting pulled up right now. Our Muhammad Alif of Ball State University is your race leader, followed by his teammate at Ball State, Cale Davidson. Ben Fiore takes third tonight from Marist College, while Clint Halterman will come across fourth for UNC Charlotte. Charles Wimbley of Guildford College will come across P5, while Walker Green of Auburn will be P6. Cohen Evans of Indiana Purdue at Indianapolis will be P7, with Jake Cummings of Converse in P8. Drew Williams of Clemson University will take P9, and Nick Henley, another Ball State car, will be P10.
After that, unfortunately, the fellas who have gone out of the points and was not able to score top 10. Thorin Thomas first up in P11, and for the number 46 Virginias, it's going to be Mark Turek in the 12th position. Unfortunately, had a strong car, but was not able to capitalize it. Just like Jason Wallet in P13, a strong start. At least he got up one place, but not the night he was looking for. Marlo Duncan in the number 84, finishing out in P14, followed by Alexander Diamond, the 049 in P15. 16th is going to be for the Andrew Burrow in the 121 car. A strong night, I would say, but unfortunate mishaps here and there. Tyler Klingensmith, 65th number car in the 17th position, followed by P18, C.L. Smith in the number 34. After him is Nicholas Stockner in P19 for the 124, and in 20th place, rounding about top 20, is Nicholas Panella in the 172.
All right, following him, it's Zach Lindler of Lenore Ryan College in 21st, while John LaFawn of the Penn College of Technology will finish 22nd. Jake Hall will come home 23rd in this race, with Brent Burton in 26th. David De Silva will finish 25th, with Esteban Munoz in 26th. Jordan Johnson 27th, and Brady McManus 28th, and Jason Satterley and Jonathan Eggy 29th and 30th.
And rounding about the rest would be the 8th place. From 31st to 38th, we got Dylan Batty and the number 20 for 31st. Matthew Nordberg, the 076 and 32nd. Ryan Whitlock, unfortunate accident at the beginning, putting him out in 33rd. Noah Massart, a rookie making his debut, unfortunately also caught in a wreck for 34th. Mario Miranda, a strong contender, but unfortunately out early for number in P35. Adrian Tibagoic was not able to start in for P36, followed by Alex Hallinar and Ethan Decatur. All three was not able to fulfill the 107%, and was not able to start in tonight's season opener.
All right. That'll be the end of our broadcast tonight. It was a very exciting race. Our Muhammad Alif gets the win, followed by Cale Davidson and Ben Fiore, and it was a crazy one, as it always is at Laguna Seca. You want to close this out, Edward?
Well, yeah, I wanted to, before we really close it out, we got to go over the schedule, because tomorrow it is going to be the inaugural Collegiate Sports Car Challenge, the GT3 Championship. It is only 5 races. So right now, I would just say this time tomorrow, when we started at 8:45, is going to be racing at Charlotte Roval. It is an endurance race. However, it's a non-points paying race, so it is technically the clash of that season. But it's going to be the first race of that series tomorrow night. You don't want to miss it. And if you don't want to miss it, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and follow us on all socials for Collegiate iRacing League, so that you don't miss out on quality college iRacing League. Now, followed by that, next Monday, Sky and I we're gonna go to Las Vegas. Time to gamble away next week on Monday. It's September, I believe it's September 9th.
It's
Sorry,
Auto Club, by the way.
It's Auto Club. Wait, hold on. I'm just so excited for Las Vegas.
Only slightly worse than Vegas for me.
Yeah. Yeah, one might say Auto Club a lower tier compared to Las Vegas, but I'm so sorry. Auto Club next Monday, September 9th at 8:45. Once again, on this channel. Stay followed. 8:30, I believe. I'm so sorry, 8:30 p.m. Don't miss that out. And also next week, me and Sky back in the booth at Nashville Super Speedway. We're going racing on an oval. I'm gonna have a little bit of more knowledge as an oval guy. As
Best
well as
track
Sky.
in iRacing.
Best track in iRacing. Save for the folks in the back because it's gonna be an amazing time next week, September 11th. You do not want to miss it. Nashville Super Speedway.
Yeah,
Well-
Nashville is my favorite track on iRacing. We're gonna have such a good time there. I'm so excited.
And it's gonna be great. So Sky, last words before I close it out.
I got nothing. Make sure to watch the CIL. We'll be back here next week for Nashville. I think it'll be a really fun one. It's the first ever Formula College race on an oval. It should be really good.
Couldn't have said any better. Take care, everybody, and have a good night.